Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to study about the Rasa theory. The Rasa theory is a very unique aesthetic concept that is there in Indian aesthetics, specifically Sanskrit classical aesthetics. It is the cornerstone of classical Sanskrit poetics, and it is part of Sanskrit drama, Sanskrit literature, poetry, everything. Uh, it to understand Sanskrit rasa, we need to understand where it has come from, which time, and how it is exemplified in its original form. Okay, so today we are going to study about the origin of ras. We are going to study what is the meaning, the definitions of ras, and finally the 8 kind of rasas that are mentioned in Sanskrit aesthetics and that are used in the classical arts. The rasa is first mentioned in the Natya Shastra, which is a classical Sanskrit text composed somewhere between 500 to 200 BCE. It was written or composed by somebody called Bharat Muni. It is a classical text on Sanskrit poetry, Sanskrit drama, Sanskrit literature, dance, music, everything. It is a compendium on all the performing arts. And that is where we find the word rasa mentioned for the first time. Okay? So if we look at the Natya Shastra, chapter 6 clearly tells us what is the rasa. In Indian aesthetics, the word implies juice, essence, or nectar. So that is where the word is coming from into drama and theatre. So it implies that it is the essence of any artistic work. Okay, so rasa is, in a certain sense, the flavor, the taste, the emotion that is experienced on enjoying that art form. Okay, so the Natya Shastra, the Bharat Muni says that it is the emotional flavor or the essence that is crafted into work by the writer and that is appreciated, that is tasted or experienced by the audience. So the audience is also called Sahriday, or the one who can appreciate or understand the rasa. Okay, so rasa is a emotional experience. It is an experience of the audience or of the audience or the reader or the viewer. Okay, so it is an audience centric concept. It is a psychological and a cognitive concept, and it is also an abstract concept. The Natya Shastra says that everything has rasa. It depends subjectively on the people how they appreciate and go about it. So rasa can be compared to taste, like food. And in fact, in the Natya Shastra in chapter 6, he uses the example of food. He says that just as when we eat something food, we can taste its various flavors, whether it's the heat of the chili, or it's the sweet of the sugar, or it's the the sourness of the tamarind. Similarly, the elements used in drama by the dramatist or in poetry by the poet, which allows the audience to express or to experience those emotions of the writer, is what is called rasa. So rasa is an audience-centric concept. It is experienced by the audience or the reader. So in the Natya Shastra, it is given so much importance that Bharat Muni in fact says that there is no meaning in drama, there is no meaning in word, speech, anything without rasa. He mentions that there are 8 rasas, 8 major emotional experiences that we can enjoy in theatre. Okay? So the first and the most important ras is Shringar. Shringar is the ras of beauty. Shringar is the emotion of adornment, of feeling loved, of feeling appreciated. It is very commonly associated with love, romantic attachment, attraction, emotion, desire, even lust. But it also extends to all other forms of positive human emotions, like the love for a mother and a child, the friendship between 2 friends, or any kind of emotion that is associated with beauty, the arts, culture, sophistication. Okay, so Shringar is the most important rasa because Sanskrit drama is primarily romantic in nature, and it is understood, it is imagined as a ras filled with that allows the audience to feel beauty, the audience to feel good, the audience to feel appreciated, the audience to feel that it is a world of adornment, of beauty. The deity that is imagined, that is supposed to be the embodiment of Shringar, is Vishnu, and the color is Sham. Sham is green color, which is associated with fertility and nature. And here in this miniature painting, you can see how all the elements are used to to visually describe or represent Shringaras. And primarily, you have Krishna, depicted in the Ras Leela format. Okay, Shringar has two aspects which is very important, very unique in Indian aesthetics, in classical Sanskrit aesthetics. Shringar has two components: Sambhog, which is love in union, the happiness of love. So you can see the two lovers together. But Shringar also is love in separation, the unhappiness that is associated in love, the love that is associated with separation, with pain. So they are two, both of them are the two parts of Shringaras. And Sanskrit poetry, Sanskrit poetics envisions the rasa of Shringar to be a comprehensive experience which, includes both. So there is love and pain, happiness and pain, both in Shringar. Okay? The next ras is Hasya ras. Hasya ras is the ras of laughter, enjoyment, merriment, peculiarity, puzzlement at times also. It is associated with ridiculous characters, ridiculous behavior, peculiarities, even at times having certain physical characteristics like hunchbacked characters, pot-bellied characters, who were probably at that time in society as understood as humorous or creating humor on stage. It is denoted by the Pramathas, which are the deities, the ganas of Shiva, and you can see them that here in this bas relief of the temple. They are characters who have half human, half animal figures, and the Hasya ras embodies that quality of being quixotic or strange. The color that is associated with Hasya ras is Shwet or white. Okay. Then we have Karun ras. Karun ras is the emotion of pity, sadness that we feel when we see sadness, pain, death at times on stage. Although death is very clearly mentioned by Bharat Muni as not to be depicted on stage directly, the pain of separation by death from family members or disease, suffering, these are the cases that lead the audience to experience Karun ras. Okay. The deity associated with it is Yam, the god of death, and the color is grey, kapot, okay, which is also associated with death and cremation and ashes. Then we have Raudra ras, the emotion, the experienced by the audience on watching the actors on stage getting angry. So when they see, when the audience sees somebody, getting angry, being furious, raising their eyebrows, throbbing of the temples, throbbing of the nose. These are associated with Raudra ras, and the audience experiences it on, the show, on the spectacle of anger, fury, injustice that is represented on stage. The deity associated with it is Rudra, who is the angry form of Shiva, and the color is Rakt, red. Next we have Veer ras. Veer ras is primarily again associated with the hero. Shringar Ras is associated with the Naika, the heroine. Veer Ras is associated with the Nayaka, and primarily is experienced when the audience by the audience when the hero is setting out for an adventure, when the hero is preparing for to go out into the battlefield, or the two armies are about to clash. So that is the time when the Veer Ras is evoked in the audience. And it is the emotion that is experienced by the audience on watching somebody being very brave, very courageous, very enterprising also. The deity associated with it is Indra, the original champion of the gods, and the color is Gaura, saffron. Next, we have Bhayanakaras. Bhayanakaras is experienced by the audience when when it watches something that is scary or that is frightening, or the character is about to enter into a dark forest at night, or is about to enter into a cave. There is howling of jackals, bandits, lightning, thunderstorm. So many signifiers that are associated with Bhayanakaras. So it is not really the audience getting scared, but the audience watching somebody who is about to get scared, or watching a character who is in a very dangerous place. So that is Bhayanakaras. The deity associated with it is Yam or Kal, and the color that is associated with it is black, Kal. Okay. Then we come to the Vibhatsi Ras. Vibhatsi Ras is the ras of disgust, the ras of unpleasantness, the emotion of repulsion. Okay, when the audience watches something that is very, very unpleasant, that is very, very repulsive, that is very unpalatable, the situations, events, or actions that are condoned by society, that are understood as not civilized, or not appreciated, when they are presented on stage, we have Vibhatsi Ras. So Vibhatsi Ras is associated with it's an extreme emotion associated with extreme actions. Okay, the deity associated with it is Mahakal, and the color is blue, black, or Kal, which is the color of poison. Okay, so this is Vibhatsi Ras. And finally, the eighth ras that we come to is the Adbhut Ras. The Adbhut Ras is the emotion of wonder, excitement, amazement that is felt by the audience. Now, this is very different. It's not like you getting a present and feeling surprised, or somebody has an unexpected guest has come to your house and you are surprised by it. That is not the emotion of Adbhut. Adbhut is an emotion that is experienced once in a lifetime. It is a out of the world experience which is experienced by the audience when it watches a god come down from heaven to the earth to intercede, or it happens when something miraculous is happening, or some superhuman, extraordinary event is going to happen. So that is the feeling of Adbhut, the rasa of Adbhut that can be experienced by the one audience. And as I said, it is usually experienced when we have these kind of situations presented in Sanskrit drama. You can see here, this is a depiction of the Vishwarup that was displayed in the beginning of the Kurukshetra war by Sri Krishna to Arjun. And that moment of understanding or realizing Sri Krishna as the embodiment of the entire universe, as Vishwarup of Lord Vishnu, is like that moment of Adbhut Ras. And the deity associated with it is Brahma, and the color is peeth or yellow. Adbhut Ras is usually the emotion that is associated or is experienced by the audience at the end of a play. It is usually related to how the audience finally understands what the plot of the play is about, and how the playwright or the dramatist has finally brought in and connected all the plots together. So in many ways it is connected to the Leela or the play that is part of the divine or cosmic play of the universe. And the dramatist, like the god or divine characters, bring about, this kind of harmonious resolution of different problems, different situations at the end of the play. So usually Adbhut Rasa is experienced by the audience at the end of the play, and that is why I think also Bharat Muni mentions it as the last ras, whereas Shringar as the most dominant or the most popular ras is mentioned at the beginning of the 8 rasas. So these are the 8 rasas that are mentioned in the Natya Shastra. We have Shringar ras, we have Hasya ras, we have Karuna, we have Raudra, we have Veera, we have Bhayanaka, we have Vibhatsya, and finally we have Adbhut ras. Okay? So this is the complex creation of emotions that can be experienced by the audience, that can be part of a dramatic experience according to the Natya Shastra. And this theory of the Natya Shastra obviously was developed after watching the first classical plays, but it became the cornerstone of not only future playwrights and plays to come in the second part of the classical age, but also influenced all Sanskrit classical poetry, and in fact a lot of classical poetry and classical arts in the subcontinent for all time to come. So in fact you can see how through the different classical dances, miniature paintings and other painting traditions, they are all are all influenced by the rasa theory that was developed by Bharat Muni in the Natya Shastra. Okay, so today in the popular understanding we have Navarasas, 9 rasas, but originally the rasa theory given by Bharat Muni in the Natya Shastra mentions the 8 rasas. So they are actually 8 plus 1. The 9th rasa, Shanta rasa, was added by Abhinava Gupta in his commentary to the Natya Shastra, which is called the Abhinava Bharati. Okay, that is given to us only in around the 9th or 10th century onwards. So almost 1,000 years after Bharat Muni's rasa theory in the Natya Shastra, we have the 9th rasa added to the 8 rasas. So originally these were the 8 rasas that are part of the dramatic experience in classical Sanskrit theatre. So just to recap, we have learnt about the rasas, we have learnt what is the meaning of rasa, how rasa originated. It was a theory that was presented in the Natya Shastra, composed by Bharat Muni in Sanskrit language from 500 BCE to 200 BCE, somewhere around that. And the rasa theory has 8 rasas. Okay, so that's the most important